Okay, so good evening everyone. Welcome to my fourth video on practical research. So we will be discussing identifying the research problem. So this will be lesson 2, no? Which will be covered on your module 2 in practical research 2. So the main reason why I didn't have my class no earlier this afternoon because I was not really feeling well. So instead, no, I decided to have a pre-recorded video once I'm already okay na. So at least you can play the video no, during your free time or even watch this video no, before the examinations. So I will now share my screen with you. So this evening, we are going to discuss identifying the inquiry and stating the problem. This will actually be the second part no, of you making your research paper. So the first one is you're going to identify your research title. Once that you already have your research title, then we will proceed with the statement of the problem or the research problem. So you'll first take a look at the research process. So in here, no, in the research process, you need first no to distinguish what is your research topic. Like, what is the topic that I am most interested now? What is the research problem that I'm most interested to pursue? No, so when you think of a research topic, class, do not um pursue a research topic that is not feasible, that's difficult to complete, no? At the same time, do not also pursue a research topic that is also not your main interest, no? So make sure nga you are really interested no, to find out no or to pursue the topic no, to make it easier for you, because no matter how impressive your topic is, but you are not that interested no in doing the topic, then it will still be useless, no? It will be a total waste of time no and a total waste of effort. So first you need to conceptualize no um for example, I'm very curious about what are the effects of the distance learning or of the pandemic towards the mental health of the students. So I would really like to know no does it take a toll on the mental health of the students no, or are the students in Santa Rita still okay no when it comes to um, handling the pandemic, being isolated in their homes, no? Or, for example, is distance learning really effective when it comes to my academic performance? No, I'm really curious to know, no? Does the quality of education, wala urgent ba siya ga-shift, no? Despite nga nag-proceed ta with online modality. So, mga ano nga topic. No, so I would like to share the experience. So when I first did my research paper, I also thought of a lot of research topics. Unya, ang ako ang gidecidean nga topic is something nga I'm really interested no, which is related to education. Wherein marapod siya og predictive nga type of research nga. I was really interested to know if ang curriculum ba sa Santa Rita no, will help equip the students no when it comes to real life no in the tourism industry, but knowing we don't have tourism graduates yet no in CSR, so that's actually not feasible. Second, I also plan um to see no or to evaluate if CSR is ready to establish a test the training center no in preparation for the HRM and tourism programs no, but of course no the school decided no we should not have a feasibility study, but instead no rather focus on an actual quantitative research. So feasibility study is, for example, no, in business, I'm going to put up a business establishment. No, I'm going to see if it's feasible to establish no, this building or this kind of business. But we were advised to have like a quantitative research. No? So that is why my topic shifted to evaluating if San Carlos City is really ready to become a major tourism destination, which is a MICE destination. So MICE doesn't mean nga mouse na siya klasa. MICE stands for meetings, incentives, conventions, and events. That means are we ready to accommodate large conventions, large conferences, no? national competitions? No, are you ready to accommodate all of those major events? No, knowing that San Carlos City is a very progressive city. So um, I was really interested because no, knowing or seeing San Carlos City no, is already progressing, and there are a lot of business ventures na already, and we are a perfect place actually when it comes to business because we are close to Dumaguete, to Bacolod, and to Cebu. No, so I was really curious to know if do we have the potential na to become a major destination or a major host city when it comes to large no and major events. So I was really curious about the topic, no, and then later on, no, it was really easy for me to gather data to actually relate in my study because I was really interested about it. If you do not have the interest, then you better change your study. No, make sure that you have a study which is very interesting on your part. But interest does not only mean nga it's feasible. It has to be interesting and it has to be feasible, no, or doable, because for example, if your study is too broad, no, that would be a difficult um, situation on your part because, for example, you would like to know how authentic is the quality Catholic education, no, of each AR school, and then CSR is not only the AR school, no, found in the Philippines. We have at least 28 not or 26 AR schools all over the Philippines, and no, for you to get accurate data you have to travel all over the Philippines. So no, so just think of a specific topic. It's feasible. No, it's not too broad. At the same time, it's really interesting on your part. No, do not think of the part of the teacher. Anyway, I'm just here to suggest. No, majority of you have similar research title because it's individual, and we are I am just here to let's say evaluate no your writing skills. It's really difficult not to actually make a thesis book because it would really entail a lot of time and a lot of resources, and I know some of you do not have those resources. You do not have access to internet all the time. No, you do not have access to the library, especially no the published thesis books of the previous batches. No, you need to have a basis of that, diba? And then um mo na siya. So mo na nag-shift mi ron. Sayang lang no if wala pa'y pandemic and we could meet face to face. Naa jud tani mo'y kuan jud no kanang output nga we're in. You can archive it in the library. But now no I'm having second thoughts no, so given nga it's really difficult because you are going to do it individually. I don't want to have it by group because it will be difficult to monitor. No, lisod naman gani i-monitor gani ang by group nga face to face class no kay naiuban di jud na magbuhat. So your only motivation nga mobuhat jud mo og paper nga dili magsalig sa grupo is that you can do it yourself. No, so that is why concept paper jud ako to. No. Sad as it is because I would really want to see your thesis book not published na in the library just like what the four previous batches did, no, in my time when I taught research to them. But given the lack of resources, the lack of time, no, my inability to monitor all of you because to be honest, I'm not only teaching research, no, I'm also teaching another subject in senior high. I'm teaching 5 major subjects in the college department, which we are also going to have it online, making of modules at the same time. So it's really a challenge for me. No, and it saddens me because of that, no, because of the preparations made for the online class, I won't be able to make time to actually um guide you or spoon feed you in making a research paper. Igura jud ko mo suggest, no? So, mauna siya. No? It's a sad part pod, no? So, I hope you'll understand, no? Nga, it's difficult on my part because I have a lot of things to do and it's not really that easy to check a research paper. At tinuod kayo na, no? It was already stressful for me when I checked only 9 or 12 research titles and research paper, no? Katod yung baga jud kaayo nila nga at least 100-page nga thesis book. No? How much more if I'm going to check at least 60 research titles and 60 research works, no? So makaya sa powers. No, I wish I could have all of the time to do that. So my purpose here is just to suggest, to correct. For example, if your title is not visible, I'm going to suggest a doable title or a feasible title, and then I'm just going to teach you like this is the format, this is what you need to do when you write a paper, and this is how you write the statement of the problem. So which is what we are going to discuss this afternoon. Now we are going to discuss the um, statement of the problem. So sorry for the very lengthy introduction. No, I was having thoughts manggod on how to integrate research, no, especially in online class, which is really difficult. Jud mo jud ako major challenges. Um, Other subjects can be easily learned, no, through online. But when it comes to research, there has to be physical contact, supposedly. No, I need to be there to actually see you doing your paper or to actually guide you on how to search for your references. But because I cannot be there in all 60 houses all at once, so tiis-tiis lang jud ta. No, so mura na siya. I just hope nga you also cooperate with me. No? Okay, so let's now proceed with, once you have conceptualized your research topic, you'll now proceed with research questions. So research questions are your statement of the problem. If we are going to have a clear idea what is a statement of the problem, so I'll show you a copy of my research paper. Um, this is my introduction. So I think it's quite important to establish your research title first and then your statement of a problem, then you'll go with introduction. So in the statement of a problem, you need to think of at least 3 to 5 research problems that you would like to, let's say, find solutions by the end of making your research paper. For example, since I am curious not to know if San Carlos City has the potential to become a major, a host, no, or a major tourism destination that can host major events or national events, then I need to know the following. So, does San Carlos City have the potential when it comes to the attractions, accessibility, accommodation, amenities, and activities? Knowing that, of course, you need to have all of these 5 A's to become a very good tourist destination. What are the stakeholders, or for example, what are the tourist demands, no, when it comes to business and trade, educational and scientific, sports and entertainment, arts and culture? Ang pasabot ani class is, since ako mga tourist man ang moari sa San Carlos City, and mostly ang mga conferences or conventions is mostly purpose nila is for business, for educational purposes, or for sports, no, or competition, or for arts, like for example no kanang mga panaad or festivals, then unsa sila mga demands, no, once we become a host, no, of a major event, no, in San Carlos City when it comes to business. So for example, no, ginahan sila nga na ay kuan, ginahan sila nga na ay auditorium, or ginahan sila nga na ay murag business center, mga yung ana. So mo pala kung gusto i-determine. No, kay of course kung akong i-advertise sa San Carlos as a major destination, need po nato i-know unsa ang mga demands, no, ni tourist or ni stakeholders. Stakeholder is of course the tourist. Okay. What are the challenges and opportunities of San Carlos City if it becomes a meetings, incentives, conventions, and events destination? So you need to also consider class unsa man ang mga opportunities, no, if we become a major host, no, for major events, no, or conventions, or unsay mga challenges, no, unsay mga difficulties. Siguro sa part kung mo host na jud tag mga national competitions, ma'am, siguro may challenge sa part sa accommodations or sa transportation, no, or mga ingana. So that could be. Or ang challenges is pag-abot sa pollution, no, kay because since the influx of tourists kay managhan ang moari diri, so di na to makontrol ang people loitering, no, so ingana, or littering, sorry, magkaan sila, maglabay-labay sila og kanang mga basura. Kay sumo na siya, nungguhan na kag mga questions nga gusto nimo pangitaan og answer by the end of your research. Why? Because your statement of the problem is the backbone of your, is sets the what sets the course of the study. Because once you have your statement of the problem, dila pug ka mag pattern no sa imuhang questionnaire or survey. So di man pwede class nga simang kayo ang imong survey o statement of the problem. Dapat imong survey mo yung maka-answer sa questions in your statement of the problem or your research problems. So statement of the problem and research problems are the same. So ano ra no kanang unsa man imong objectives. Kung sabto na tug maayo sa statement of the problem, unsa imong objectives no? Since this is your topic, for example, you would like to know um if ang online distance learning maka-affect ba siya sa academic performance sa student, then unsa man ang mga gusto nimo mabal-an? Um, um, first ito, maka-affect ba siya? Next is, since knowing if unsa ang maka-affect ba jud ang kuan ang online distance learning sa academic performance sa bata, then unsa man ang atong mga perceived outcomes or let's say interventions. So for example, wala mo gusto mabalaan nga if mabalaan na to ang unsay ang effect sa online distance learning sa academic performance, unsa man ang atong gusto nga buhaton nga output. For example, maghimo ba ta og um maghatag ba ta og kanang mga suggestions or recommendations sa admin nga mo ni siya ang mga implications sa online distance learning, no? It can really affect the academic performance students, no? O na mga problems sa ilang academic performance, no, because dili tanan makakuan sa online distance learning mga ana, no, nga mga questions. So daghan gikag mga questions nga ipangutana, like for example, no, maski yung tulora tagay lang kung 3 to 5, no. So meaning unsa mga objectives or unsa man ang imuhang think of nga mga questions that you want to be solved by the end of the research. Now, again, your research question sets the direction of the study. So because if you already have your research problem, your topic, and then you have your research question or research problem or statement of the problem, comparison na sila tulo, research question, statement of the problem, or research problems. If nakaan na automatically, pwede na ka, dila po ka mag-draft sa imuhang conceptual framework. Dila po ka mag-draft sa imong survey questionnaire. No? Dila po ka mag-base sa imong RRL. Definition of terms. No? So, very vital kaayo ni silang duha. Si research topic and research questions. Although vital man sila tanan. No? All parts of the research paper makes an entire research paper dyan, na makes a whole, no? One cannot exist without the other. Pero ang major dyan nga maka-set of direction to study is both of this, which is ang topic or ang title and statement of the problem or your research questions. So your research topic should be worthwhile, no? It should be interesting. Worthwhile meaning dili makalas imong time nga pagsugod nimo og himuan nga research kapuyan na di ka tunga-tunga muundang ka, so sayang sa time, no. Interesting, you are very interested at the same time it's also interesting sa part ni reader, no. Mubasa siya kung bitaw no unsa kahaang kanang effect sa online distance learning sa mental health sa students. So mo i-consider, no. Is there a significant relationship, no? May significant relationship, mo connect ba jud ang online distance learning sa academic performance, no? Ba na ba siya connection? So dira na kamo sa tog hypothesis. So malay mong second question. So, for example, no? What is the effect of mo first question? Ay mo title is the effect of online distance learning towards the mental health of the grade 12 senior high school students of Colegio de Santa Rita. So nga mo butang jud ta og specific nga students o specific nga school because may of the grade 12 students. Daghan mga grade 12 students sa tibok Pilipinas, sumobroad na imong study. Nabuta pa siya grade 12 students of San Carlos City. Daghan kay grade 12 students sa San Carlos City. So di siya feasible, no? Daghan na kaayo na siya. Pwede man siya, it's feasible if you are doing a master's thesis, no, nga more than 100 plus, no, 200 kapin dyan imong respondents. Pero since still, you're just making your concept paper, so you'll start locally lang, no. So mga ingana. So mo po na imong ibutang example. So ang first question naman imong title, no. So first question nimo is what are the effects of online distance learning towards the academic performance of the grade 12 senior high school students of CSR? Second question, is there a significant relationship between the between the online distance learning and the academic performance of the senior high school student? O nakalian sa second question, imuhang ilantawon if naa ba siya kanang mo connect ba siya, no, meaning ang main reason ba nga mo fail siya sa academic performance is tungod sa kuan, or poor siya academic performance is tungod ba um sa online distance learning, no, kay feel niya dili jud maayo ang kuan. So may ana no, imo kuan if nabudod sila connection, no, mo correlate ba silang duha. So ang usa yung tawon nimo unsay mga effects, unsa may epekto niya sa nang ang first question imuhang i-determine if unsay ang effects. For example, ang effects niya ma'am is low grades, no, um kuan kanang ang quizzes sa score mo gamay ma'am, or when it comes to kanang pagsabot nako sa kuan dili kayo yung anak ka kadako, no, nga ko ang understanding sa lesson, no, knowing because of course akong internet dili yung anak ka stable, so yan mo na siya ang gusto nimo mabalaan sa first question. Sa second question katong correlation mo na to siya na imuhang lang taon if ang kuan ba nabay connection si online distance learning sa academic performance estudyante, no, they do they connect with each other, no, mo na siya. And the last is pwede po ni maibutang ang question is you would like to know what are the intervention plans that you would like to do once mahuman ang study. So ang intervention plans is for example maghimo ba ka og kuan intervention program. Mahatag ba ka dira og kanang mga data nga mao ni siya ang mga responses sa mga students, sister or teacher, wherein i-compare na to ilang grades o ang ilaha pong answer sa survey, kalabanan nila ga struggle jud sa online class and it can really affect their academic performance. So mo ni akong mga recommendations. That's an intervention plan. So kanang tulo mo na nimong statement of the problem. So mo na example. No, mo ni akong gusto mabalaan by the end of the research. So it's doable, it's worthwhile, and it's interesting because you are also experiencing online distance learning. So please no, ang ato lang ana kay I know some of you have a negative mindset when it comes to no ay uban nga di jud kay positive ang ilahang hunahuna sa online distance learning, because I understand no daghan mo mga factors nga mga negative ta kay ang signal, no, mo pwede na siya kita kasabot dayon sa i-discuss ni teacher. So please let's not be biased lang, even though you wanted to have a negative kuan lang nga, ginahan ka nga negative jud ang output sa study or ang result sa imong survey, di ta dapat mo mahilabot, no, di ta pwede mo musulti sa tong classmate ka i-negative na tanan kay kabalo pug ko nga ga problema pug ka. Let him be, no, kung unsa ang iyahang kuan, unsa ang iyahang um let's say perception ana nga situation, then sagdaan na nimo siya kung positive man ako ang kuan kay ay naman nimo na i-interpret by the end nga mahuman na kag-survey tanan sa imong mga classmates or schoolmates, no. So ana ra as it's interesting because it's relatable on your part, pero let's not be biased, no, dili na to pugson nga mo jud akong gusto nga results sa akong survey kay mao ni ang ako ang na feel, no, no, dili pwede, you are there to find out the truth. Okay, so the research process follows systematic steps, so similar to the scientific method. That is why later on, after the exam, I will be giving you a format of the entire concept paper. And then, what are the definition on each part? Para makabalo mo nga, after sa title, then I'm gonna make the introduction, then I'm going to make the statement of the problem. So, yan na siya. Okay, these are the following steps in the research process. There are 8 of them. No? But, di na siya 8, actually, kay daghan, kay na-skip, ani, yeah. I'm just actually basing on the book, but still, no, I will be filling in no, some of the steps that were not mentioned in the research process. First step, define the research problem. Nung wala na siya kung na-mention, no, once you have already the research topic and you have established the research problem, then you read. No? Unlike in qualitative class, no, you are not allowed to read, no, before conducting the survey, because no, it will be biased na, ma-influence na imong mindset. But in quantitative research, pwede kaayo kakabasa class, no. You can read because it can help you no formulate, let's say, ay nabasahan ako sa study ni kuan ni Berkham or nabasahan ako sa study ni Hilgam nga mo ni hang na mention about online distance learning and how it affects academic performance. So mo ni siya nga ko ang kuano na nakoy idea unsaon nako ni or asa ang direction sa kong study. So may ana no. So basa ka sa literature because what comes after the research problem no followed by your significance of the study and definition of terms is the review related literature no, which is on chapter 2. That is actually a major um, part um, of the research paper. So, una ta sa background of the study, no, which is nanadira ang statement of the problem, introduction, significance of the study, definition of terms. Dayon, mo-follow na din na si review-related literature, which is followed by conceptual framework, no, theoretical framework. So, muna siya. Next kay formulate the hypothesis. So this is optional class, no? If you have your significant difference or mag-need kang mga inferential questions, naa kay significant difference, significant relationship dira, you would like to prove, no, with a hypothesis, pwede ka mo kuan og hypothesis. But just a piece of advice, please do not have a alternative hypothesis kay need to also explain that during the defense no kang there is a significant relationship between um, online distance learning and academic performance of the grade 12. So mo tanong ni Panelis, kindly explain unsa man na ang significant kining agree man ka sa hypothesis nga naa sila significant relationship. No, so sometimes if dili naman ka mag correlation then pwede na ka mag-proceed with null hypothesis, which is there is no significant difference in the academic performance towards the, of the online learning or online class towards the academic performance of the grade 12 students. So, imo na i-reject ang hypothesis nga, wala man sila significant relationship. Not unless if you're going to do correlation, then imo siyang ibutang nila. Then, imo rin i-support dayon sa imong data. No, so, usually, the hypothesis comes right after the statement of the problem. Next, let's proceed to research design. So, di ba, I have already discussed the types of quantitative research in video 3, no, which was uploaded in YouTube. So, you will then think, no, unsa man nga type of quantitative research ang ako ang i-pursue? Am I going to have an experimental or non-experimental research? So, di ba, ako mag-suggest ninyo is non-experimental, and then of course kuan siya descriptive because you're just there to describe. I-describe raman nimo unsa ang perception sa mga student towards online learning and how it affects their academic performance. So i-describe raman nimo ilahang mga perceptions no ang ilahang mga responses. So then you're going to proceed only with the quantitative descriptive. Not unless if you're going to conduct a social experiment, no? If you're going to conduct a social experiment class, then to na ka a quantitative experimental, then what kind of quantitative experimental? Quasi ba na or true experimental research? So muna muna naon class ha, in the design, some of you are going to proceed with quantitative descriptive research design. No? Panlag sa mag-experimental, labi na kung natay laboratory or mag-conduct ng observations. Okay. Next is step 5, collect data. So when you collect the data class, no? So when you collect the data, you're going to have a survey questionnaire. So again, no, magkuha ta sa to ang survey questionnaire sa statement of the problem. So ito na niyo i-pattern. I'll give you an example. Stop share sa ta. Ay, okay, sorry. Okay. So muna kong problem ha, palihog ko og kanang kuan, i-retain sa inyong memory. So Mo ni siya, no? Ang una is, unsa ang potential ni San Carlos City according to attractions, accessibility, accommodation, amenities, and activities. Next is, unsa ang perceived demands according to business and trade, educational, scientific, sports and entertainment, arts and cultural. And last is, what are the challenges and opportunities? We will now make a research survey or survey questionnaire out of my statement of the problem. So, unsa itsura? So, this will be the example. So, this is the respondent's profile. No need na siya. Ang first problem, which is the potential of San Carlos City according to attraction, accessibility, accommodation, and amenities, is found on the first part no of the questionnaire, which is mo ni siya ang first question. So maghimo po ko og set of survey questionnaire based on the statement of the problem. So na data nan. No? So unsa man ang potential ni San Carlos comes to attraction. So naa dire, naghimo ko questionnaire no about sa attraction. Next nga set is accessibility. So naghimo ko questionnaire pud ana nga ilang ansiran no by yes or no. Accommodation, amenities, and activities. Next question, di ba? Ang second question sa kung statement of the problem, unsa ang perceived demand sa stakeholders when it comes to business and trade, educational and scientific, sports and cultural, and arts and entertainment. So maghimo na pug ko og another set nga mo answer ani nga question. So naa diri ang business and trade. So yes and no ra. Sila ang mga perceive or gusto nila nga makita sa San Carlos City, educational, scientific, sports and entertainment, and then arts and cultural. So yes and no ra po na. And last question, which is the third question, di ba, is the challenges and opportunities of San Carlos City as a tourism destination. So to answer that, nagbutang kog mga set of opportunities and challenges na checkan nila. So checkan dayon na nila. Muna siyang opportunities, muna ang challenges. Sing ana ra. Okay? So, maora na siya class, no? So, dapat, the very crucial jud paghimo sa statement of the problem because it will also set the course for making your survey questionnaire. So, dapat ting ana po, no? So, dapat answerable ang inyong statement of the problem by the questionnaire. So, the statement of the problem dictates what will be the sections found on your questionnaire. So, mo na siya. Dapat dilita mo si Mang, no? Mo drive or mo align dyan na si statement of the problem and questionnaire. Even, daghan kaayog kinahanglan i-drive sa statement of the problem. You have your definition of terms. No? You have your review of related literature. No? You have also, of course, no kato, your recommendations, your interpretation has even to follow the pattern pod no or to follow from the statement of the problem. So dapat huna rin mo kung sa mga statement of the problem nga dali na siya ansiran no at the same time no dali na pud ko maghimo ko og survey questionnaire. Ay sorry. So okay. Once you already have collected the data, like for example, nakaya mo na kong survey questionnaire, ning agi na siya og test of validity and test of reliability, then that will be the time that I will administer my questionnaire to the respondents. Which are, kinsa man tong respondents nimo? Of course, ang grade 12 students, di ba? Kahit nga naman, no, imo mang i-identify unsa ang ilahang perception about online learning towards their academic performance, no? So, of course, na yung mga respondents, katod yung mga estudyante, nag-undergo ng online learning and katimuhang usually pangutanon. No, so next, analyze and interpret the data. Once you have already collected no the survey that was answered by your respondents, you will need to analyze no this is where statistics no comes in. For example, your questionnaire is answerable by yes or no. So you're only going to determine, you're going to only apply simple percentage method in statistics, no? Or frequency distribution. So what you're going to do is, magsad kag table. And then, imo i-analyze how many percent ang ning answer og yes and how many percent ang ning answer og no. Then get the total, no? So, mabalaan mo nga, based ako ang data out of 50 respondents, no? 60 man na imutan na grade 12. So, tuloy botang mga 30, half lang. Out of 30 respondents, 25 students answered yes for question number 1, and 5 students answered no for question number 1. So, per question, imong identify pila ka percent ang answer og yes or no. Dili na tingubo nimo tanan ha, by question dyan na siya dapat. So, if you have 10 questions in your survey questionnaire, then dapat na ay percentage sa yes or no kada question. So, mo na siya. Now, frequency distribution. And simple percentage method. So, yung frequency is pila ka buok, then percentage is convert into percent. So, how much is 25? Ang frequency niya, how much? I mean, pila ang iyang percentage. So, if you're going to convert it to percentage, how much ano, kwarta siya itong mga nahunaan eh. Bright na ta basta kwarta na ma-input. Okay, so, muna na siya. Interpret. So, once you've already presented your table, no nga mo ni siya summary sa tanan akong data, ma'am, putan din ka og written nga interpretation. So, therefore, no, if ang yes is favorable sila nga, naka-improve sila, if ang yes is more on, nag-favor sila nga, ang online distance learning can help improve their academic performance, then you provide there in your analysis nga, says majority of my respondents no answered yes, then butang ka dirag pila ang numerical dyan niya nga kuan nga amount, then mo butang din ka dito nga therefore no, or for example majority of the respondents answered yes, since they have already agreed, or majority of them agreed that online distance learning can help improve their academic performance, o mga ana nga example no. Okay, step 7, which is write the research report, should be in the very beginning dyan na siya class. Dili ta maghimo ani tanan din, dili ta magsulat along the way. No? It would really take time. No? It can be counterproductive no if unya ta musulat sa tibuok na tong chapter 1 to chapter 4 ini kahuman na natog analyze sa data. No, magkatag na siya. So dapat process na to is sugod ka chapter 1 abi magsulat kag introduction o sulat na nimo, dili lang ka mag-conceptualize sa kapermis imong utok no, puta na ka mo scratch, no, isulat siya nimo siya para dili magtingob tanan imong sulatonon. So at least kuan lang. Anyway, if you're using your laptop, much better. If papel, so mo ni siya ang part nga ma-apply na si step 7 kung if you're using the traditional way, because siguro magsulat ka from time to time, yung makompile siya, and then di man pud siya nindot lang taon if i-compile ra nimo siya, so imo dyan straight og sulat, so mao pa siguro na time i-transfer nimo to yung mga scratch sa actual paper if you are pursuing the traditional way, which is written. But if you're going to have it computerized, no, encode nimo siya, then much as possible hinahinayan na lang nato. Kaya anyway, mag-save ra man ta og file pod. No? My research paper is actually a 200-page plus na research paper because that includes my intervention plan, no, or my output by the end of the research. So, if I'm going to rewrite that, no, it would really take time. So, hinahinay ra jud ko ana class, no. Sugod jud ko sa concept paper, naka-improve until naabot siya 200 plus nga pages, no. Then step 8, report the findings of the research. It is really important that you're going to present your paper to a panel, no? So maybe it would consist of a chairman, 2 panelists, no? And then your research advisor. In our part, since that is very difficult to do, then probably since you are going to have it online, I'm just going to pick out at least one unique researcher na mo present synchronously with the class, and the rest would have to record themselves lang presenting the paper. Okay? So I will just give you an example. I will just record my own my own research paper pod, no? For example, kani, pero medyo dugay-dugay man ni siya eh. Sige lang, skip pa na ako. Naman ko sorry. Okay, so naman ko akong kaugalingon pod nga research paper class, which I have already worked on for almost 2 years na ni siya. Actually, if I'm not going to count katong mga times kaning undang ko, I only work on this paper for a year and a half. 1 year na jud din. Lapas ako pila ka semana kay working, no, dili po siya ako madungan dayon. So that's it. Okay. Sorry. Napindot ang stop share. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so next is define the research problem. Mo na siya ko na-mention. So the first step in the research process is to identify a research topic and transform it into a researchable problem or question that can be investigated. In identifying a research problem, you may confer with people knowledgeable in your field of interest or read published journals. Formulating research questions involves asking questions that can be answered by means of collecting data. A well-crafted research question gives a clue to the kind of variables to be investigated, as well as the data gathering procedures to be undertaken by the researcher. You need to consider class ha, in your, let's say, in your title, na may cases class nga, digit present ang duha ka variables, no? But, for example, no, sa title na to nga, in my title, the potential of San Carlos City as a MICE destination, it doesn't have an independent and dependent variable because I'm just going to evaluate if there is actually potentiality. No, it cannot affect anything. But for example, no, prosujud mo og kanang manipulate jud ninyo si ko kay descriptive ang pud ako agad i-describe man akong phenomenon. For example, mukuan ka, no, i-test nimo if kaning advertisement mo affect ba siyang consumer buying behavior, then you have the independent and dependent variable already and it has to be present in your title. If you're going to pursue that, especially sa ABM students, then pwede kaayo. No? As long as doable siya on your part, dili kay mo reklamo by the end of the semester kay dili nyo kaya. No, it's okay to be ambitious but make sure nga dili pun mo mag-struggle no, in the duration of making the paper because again, we have to be self-reliant na from now on. Kay tungod it's individual na. No? So, mapod na siya. Alam mo, kabala ka, kung di jud perfect ang paper, wala siya, even in the master's and PhD, there is no perfect paper. As long as you just know how to do it, then that's fine. No, dili na jud ta ka aspire atong mag-oral defense pa jud ta, kay di jud makaya, no? Knowing how distant you are from me. Do the review-related literature. Obtaining the background information about the research topic is the main purpose of the review-related literature. It's one of the backbones of research. Now, your conceptual framework is the backbone of your study, but your review-related literature is quite vital also because it can provide support information. Kay uban mo basa sila, sure ba ni siya nga feasible yung study? Yes, it's visible because there are many review-related literature nga related, no, mo bitag-itawag siya related literature kay related siya sa imuhang study. Meaning na ay mo further support sa imong study ba. So, mo man na because you are handling facts no when it comes to making a research paper. So, review-related literature such as a peer-reviewed journal articles helps to establish the rationale, significance, and justification in pursuing the research study. And it's really important class, no? I'm not a vivacious ako na ingon sa creative writing, voracious reader when it comes to journals because it's really boring, no? Pero mapugos yung ka og basa class, especially if you're going to search for related literature or related research paper because dili naman good ikaw ang nag-conduct ana nga study. Many people have already conducted a study nga same sa imuha. And some of them are already published online. That is why kinahanglan ka mo basa para na kay idea asa ka padulong. Unlike nga wala jud kay idea at all, no, lahi ra jud nang di ka mobasa class tinuod jud na if you do not read then you do not have any idea no nga unsaon man ni like where is um asa man ang kapadulngan sa ako ang study no wala jud koy idea but when you have read the works of other authors no of other researchers no the more ka class nga murag ma-enlighten ba nga mo ni ang ilang findings ay no very positive kayo lang findings no nya kaning this is how the independent variable affects the dependent variable in his study which is also related to my study so maybe mukha kong ideas ani niya ana isa po ka idea unsaon pag formulate pod no pwede ka kakuha og inspiration but not hindi mo i-copy paste with class because no you'll be again violating the copyright laws no naghanap na checkan nga modules nga nagkopya ra sa internet, no? Please use your thinking caps, no? And your critical thinking skills, make it to, put it to good use, no? Kaya sayang kaayo. In research, dili siya dapat mag-plagiarize. So, kaya itong kuan kay first time pa man po na to pag-answer sa module, no? Pero, kaya itong kuan sige lang, hatag lang taog chance ka usa, no? Or please, do not do it again, no? You can make use of the internet, pero not all the time. Nga, tanan na lang dyan mong answer, internet na lang dyan. No, dili po. Again, read the module. Just as you have also need to read the kuan pod, ang review written literature, then dila na ka makakita og ideas. Kay all of your activities in the module can be found in the answers activities sa modules can be found in the module raman Japon. Okay, formulate hypothesis. So, a hypothesis is an educated guess. So, with a hypothesis, marasya ka nang mag-forecast rin mo siya that serves as a tentative answer to the post-research questions at the beginning of the inquiry process. The hypothesis directs the researcher to the data gathering procedures to be used in the study as well as the data analysis that can be employed to interpret the findings. Prepare the research design. The research design is the blueprint of the research. It provides the details of how the data will be collected, analyzed, and interpreted. It includes the instruments that will be used to collect data. So actually, the research design is under methodology. Methodology is on chapter 3 of your research paper wherein design nimo is I will be pursuing a quantitative descriptive or quantitative experimental research o mabi na kung gusto i-pursue, and then identify nimo imuhang research respondents dila nimo i-identify mo nis lang kung mga research respondents grade 12 students of CSR and a total of 30 respondents, no. Ako ang one is random sampling o mga ana-abi or non-random sampling o mga ana-abi, no, nga example research instrument dila nimo i-present, no, unsa ang kind of research survey questionnaire ang imuhang i-employ sa research. Next is research environment. Asa man nimo i-conduct ang study? So for example, I'm going to conduct it within San Carlos City lang or in Colegio de Santa Rita de San Carlos Incorporated. Then give at least a brief background of CSR or SCC. Next is data procedure. So unsa may mga paagi, what are the steps for you to get your data? So first, mananghid sa ka sa respondent, mananghid ka sa principal nga mo conduct kag research sa school. And then once nga ma-approve na no, ang imong permission, mo hatag ka, mo administer kag questionnaire, i-collect din i-analyze ug interpret. So mga ana examples, no, sa kuan blueprint nimo sa or methodology sa imong research. Si design under na siya sa methodology. Kani iyang gimension nga mo-provide og details how the data will be collected, analyzed, and interpreted is under the methodology. Collect data. So, it's one of the most important step. Masayop ka sa pag-collect nimo og data, subjug ka, no? Tanan, imong methodology usbon rin mo siya, imong research survey. No, dira man na it all boils down in your statement of the problem. So, ilisa na po to nimo, no? So, importante jud kay ni siya nga process pod because it involves obtaining the necessary information. Mo ni siya ang more crucial part because this will actually determine what will be the outcome of your research, no? Out of the responses from your respondents. So, data can be collected in so many ways. If you're going to proceed with qualitative, it could be done through observations, no, interviews, peer group discussions. If it's going to be a quantitative research, no, it's going to be surveys, checklists, or even secondary data. So mga ingana. Analyze and interpret. So data analysis paves the way to make sense of the collected data by transforming them into appropriate tables and graphs. And appropriate data analysis ensures the validity of the conclusions of the study. And write the research report. After the collection and analysis of data, a researcher should report the findings of the study into a comprehensive research paper. This process allows one to see the connections of the research questions, research design, data collection, and data analysis. After all, the primary purpose of conducting research is to seek solutions to problems. No, mo na iyahang main purpose. Thus, writing the results of the research confirms that the research questions are answered. The important part is class. The purpose why you need to write your research report is not just to comply or to submit it to your teacher. Siguro karon kaya lisod pa man jud kayo ta mag oral defense. So, it's more of just to see or as an exercise, no, para to know, no, para nako on my part para makabalo ko if kamao na ba jud mo sulat og research paper. as of now. But if we are going to have a face-to-face classroom class, if it's safe na, no, to meet you personally, the main purpose is not just to submit your paper, but to also have your panelists, no, look at your paper and also check, no, mag-quality check din man na nga kanang need ba ni siya i-publish, because class ikaw human mo og himo sa imong thesis, imo man nang i-print, i-bookbind, ipalibro dyan na nimo, imo nang i-archive sa library, and it would be a very great privilege for you to have your work, no, published in the library, because it will be the basis for the future researchers, no, murag basihan na na imuhang paper kay na-check na ni siya, no? Some of it are free from major errors. Siguro yung mga minimal errors pero dili jud major nga errors. And then, no, meaning naka-contribute na ka sa body of knowledge. So, one ang purpose na we need to have physical evidence, because if dili nimo i-write mo research report, it is just in your thought bubble, then how would we know, no, nga this is the output of your research, this can help um, provide solutions to problems, no, or can help future researchers because they can make it as a basis. So dapat imo siyang sulaton, no, because information is meant to be shared, no, dili man na siya, di man ka maayo nga person pod kung imo lang ikom kung imong information, you need to also share it with other people so that they may also learn. So man ang purpose class, no, sharing of information and ideas, and then of course, no, again, it will be a great privilege to contribute to the body of knowledge. Report the research findings. So, you need to present it again to the panelists. Dili man miingon nga mulingkod mo sit down mi sa oral defense para kanang palisod-lisuron na jud mo, or para ingnon nga kanang bright jud mi kay daghan mi i-correct sa paper. No, the main purpose is to help you, because again, no research paper is perfect. We are all susceptible to making mistakes. And in order for our paper to be fully published, no, in the library, it has to undergo proofreading, no, nagkantag mga grammatical errors. I do have grammatical errors as well, mga simple spelling masayo pa man gani ko, no, and knowing that I'm not already a student, no, student ra Japon ko, in the sense nga I'm still continuing my studies while working, but knowing nga at this age, no, supposedly daghan na mo expect nga wala kay sayop, pero masayop jud ta class, no. That is why you need the help of other panelists to review your paper if naba siya mga sayop or na iba kinahanglan i-correct. It will also help you because it would be very embarrassing on your part nga mo publish kag thesis paper niya wala gi-evaluate sa panelist yung wala dayon ang mga mubasa unsa man ni uy unsa man niyang work kanang kapataka lang man ni siyang sulat, no. So maabot ra po na sa author, no, maabot ra po na sa reputation sa author. So dapat I do believe that 2 heads or 3 heads are better than 1. And I think nga, if there are many people who are going to review your paper, the more it will become almost perfect. Or perfect, no? Or abot na siya nga, free from errors na siya. So we are just here to help you, no? Ako magani, I also have a trauma when it comes to oral defenses, no? Because I will be facing um, deans, no? Ang panelist nako kay mo consist na siya og university dean, no, dean sa LCC, dean sa LaSalle, may uban gani nga panelist ko to nag-defend ko sa akong master's thesis, no, sa proposal pa lang na siya ha, wala pa ko nag-final. Ang uban sa ilaha is nanay multiple PhD degree, so ma-intimidate jud ka, no, and knowing nga grabe jud kay sila mohatag og kanang mga feedback, so very traumatizing kay siya on my part, pero ako naman siyang gidawat tanan, no, with all humility and all, because they just want to help, no, ka if I'm going to publish my paper in an international journal, it would be very embarrassing if dili siya nindot nga paper, no, bahalag kapoy, pero at least at the end of the day I'm just going to reap, no, the fruit of my labor once it will be published in an international journal. So at least so free from errors, dili ka kanang katawan pagbasa nila daghang kig mga sayop mo katawa din sila mo yan, need na siya, no. So we need to present it because not only nga ma-aware si panelists nga this type of research does exist or this topic is very interesting, makorek na siya daan from the very beginning. I need to also present it to everyone. Again, sharing of information is really important. No, information is meant to be shared. That's what I have learned, no, from my teachers in research when I did my research in college and in my master's degree. Daghan kay ko nakatunan nila, and I'm also sharing this with you so that when you reach in college, bahalag online na ta class, at least na mo nakatunan, bahalag gamay or bahalag average lang, no. Ang importante na jud tay makatunan. So we'll proceed with characteristics of a good research topic by the end of the examinations, no? Mo jud na siya, mo-proceed ra ta ani. I will still conduct a online class, no, after the exam. Thank you once again, no, for listening. I know nga some of you skip ra mo sa video, pero katod yung all throughout from the very beginning of the video until the end nga who stuck with me, no, nga naminaw jud nako. Thank you, no, in the bottom of my heart. Thank you jud kayo because um your let's say in your part, no, that passion, or let's say ang imuhang gusto jud nga, nga makat-on jud ka, dako na kayo siya on my part. Kay of course all of us are trying, no, in these difficult times galisod jud ta tanan, pero ning kamot ra puno maminaw nako, no, despite of how lengthy the video is, you want to learn, no, and that dedication to learning is really important, no. So thank you so much. So again, for those nga wala jud na, wala jud nako na naklasihan, no, you can watch this